Hello guys, I'm Eero Westerberg and I'm the master coach at VAHVA Fitness. Today I'm going to present you an equipment which is the round sandbag. So that is very important. This is the round sandbag. So there are other kind of sandbags also which are they are longer in one side and more narrow in other side, and those are also useful. But the unique exercise of the round sandbag is the one that is part of the Iron King method, and it has certain very cool features to it that I really like and why it is also part of the Iron King. And one is because it is round, it will create, any way you grab it actually, it will have this thicker dimension to it. So if I'm grabbing like this way, it comes very far away from my body. So this is 100-pound bag, so it's already pretty heavy as you can see. So if I'm grabbing it here, the bulk of the weight is going to be in front of my body, and that's really the effective features of it. Because when it's in front of the body, it means it's off center, and when something is off center, something in my body has to counter that off center weight, and that is my musculature. And this is holding this here. This is a workout. This is an exercise actually. Walking here, that's an exercise. Squatting with this weight, that's an exercise. Deadlifting, that's an exercise. Rotating and all this. These are all exercises that you can do with this, and they're very, very challenging and difficult because I need to hold this up. So this is very active work in just engaging it in that kind of standing position, because the weight is pulling me down constantly. It's constantly wanting to collapse me. So I need to combat that and counter that with my own muscular frame. This is very, very hardcore training. If we go a little bit to the history of this, we have records of ancient Egyptians training with sandbags. At least there are even like pictures of them where they're swinging this kind of sandbags from air, so doing sandbag swings. But there's also records of the ancient Greek and even the Roman, let's say during the antique time, they were utilizing sandbags for their training. There's also records where they're saying their training was to lift a heavy object up and hold it, or to walk with a heavy object. So it's exactly the same principle as with training with the sandbag. So very, very ancient functional training tool as well. And even going back to more to modern day, if we look at the old time strongmen, or the modern even strongmen, and if we look at the who are these people from the Scottish culture, the Ireland culture, and all these, when they're lifting actually stones. So these guys were lifting stones, strongman stones, and the round form actually emulates a shape of a stone, but it's a little bit more comfortable to get a good grip on, because you can actually squeeze through the back and it's not so hard, although a stone is of course its unique equipment, but these will still emulate actually carrying a stone or squatting with a strongman stone, right? So very, very, well, I'll say one of the favorite exercises of actually strongmen. So very functional for those purposes as well. Long history of training. The benefits I already described here a little bit is, because of this awkward shape and how it recruits and engages the different musculature in your body. But what is, again, there's always things that are not so obvious. And one is that I'm needing to have to hold this back. And people often think that grip is, this is grip, and I can grip this like this way, right? But what is also grip is this. These are grips. Even this is grip. And the pressing against my body and squeezing my elbows tight in and pressing here, this is a grip. This is a full body grip. And this is also extremely functional grip. If you've ever done wrestling or martial arts, you might grab a single leg like here. You might grab like a body lock like this way. You can throw a person by utilizing this grip. You're attaching with this grip to someone, even a rig takedown. So actually, if you're doing wrestling or something, it can be sometimes difficult to get, and if you're not doing any martial arts, you're not going to get this kind of gripping strength actually trained. With this kind of one, you can really increase the volume of the training of these body grips, body locks, and get like a steel squeezing, crushing, like a bear hugging grip. You can even grip it like this way, just not having this lock here, fingers or palms, but just pressing like this way, or carrying even here. There's so many ways, and every single one of those trains those arms, fingers, forearms in a little bit different manner. So amazing benefits for this type of functional squeezing and full body grabbing strength. One factor also that is related to the off-center weight distribution is, and this is a big one actually, when I start to do more squats with this one, my overall squatting performance, my squatting form, and the feeling that I had in squatting significantly improved. So even when I did front squats or back squats, I was much stronger in them. And I was so surprised. I mean, okay, hey, I've been doing squats also for many years. Why did this equipment make such a huge difference into my squatting, strength, technique, feel, even mobility? It's because, again, the weight is into the front. So I'll leave it there, soon I'll show the squat. But the weight is in the front. This will also mean that even when I'm squatting into this position down here, even if I have front squat, the weight is pretty close to my body here, to my clavicles. If my weight is over here, you know, if I have a surgical squat, it's also a good variation, but the sandbag is the variation that has the most weight here, like you have a big belly in front of you. And that particular motion coming up from here, from the bottom, the engagement into this hip region, into the waist, like really here, the deep hip area, your glutes, your groins, this whole deep groin, hip, glute area is gonna be so strongly engaged, like you wouldn't believe it. And you just have to try it. And of course, do this exercise with control. But the loading off-center place really places the pressure and the stress on that hip region, which is quite fantastic. But there are also many people who find it difficult even in deadlifting or, you know, of course in squatting as well, sometimes recreating their hip musculature. And these are really strong muscles that support and actually create a lot of drive. So with this equipment, you may get a lot of benefits just nearly automatically getting that pressure and stress go into that correct area, into that hip zone area. So so here, so now coming up from here, the pressure is forward and I need to counter that, and my glutes are so crazy firing up. Even the inner thigh, inner hamstrings coming up. It's all heel, this is like so much like posterior chain drive, even from this point onward. Like I'm almost standing up and I'm still like squeezing my glutes as hard as crazy. So there's that. Those are like major benefits. There are, oops, mic is flying around. There are countless of benefits, countless of exercises, even in, like, you know, you have a traditional squats and so on, but even the arm wrestling method has like a ton of exercises really different that we have also developed unique drills to train the entire body of it. With this kind of backs, you know, I think there's always the threshold, oh, I need to get a back. But this kind of back you can order, again, from online, Amazon, maybe 20, 30 bucks. And so very, very cheap because it's an empty back actually. But what you then need to do is you need to fill the back with sand. So this is like filled with around 100 pounds of sand actually. Now, where did you get the sand? The easiest way, the best way is to go into nature, to a place where you have sand. So I'm living in Dubai, so we have plenty of desert here, right? But if you're not living in a desert, you can go to the beach, any kind of, even if a lake beach or an ocean beach, if you have sand there, you can use that sand and fill it. That's the easiest way. If you're living more maybe remote areas, you may find a sand pit, you may find a construction area that has this, you may find a garden store that has sand. Like there's so many places where you can get easily sand. And don't think that this is too much effort, like it is so worth it. It's very tiny amount of effort for a tool that is so functional as the sandbag. Even you can order sand nowadays from online at least, and as far as I've checked, it's also very cheap to order this sand through online. So there's really no excuses to get in an equipment like this way. But I understand that there can be that little threshold, I need to get something, but it's so easy with this kind of equipment nowadays to find them from almost anywhere. even order them to your own doorsteps. So sandbag, round sandbag specifically, fantastic tool. I love this nowadays together with the mace and club training. Go ahead, try it and develop your iron body.